I think we're live, G. We're live, G. Hi, you
Oh
guys.
yeah.
How you going? Welcome, everybody. If you're joining us, you're able to join us today in the Australian Interior Design Advice Group. Really pleased to have you. Apologies for the change in time, but yeah. So here we are at 5 o'clock. I'm with somebody who I really enjoy spending time with because he's so talented. He's also someone I consider to be a good friend of mine. But I'm really pleased to introduce this gentleman you see sitting next to me, who's a very talented photographer and videographer. Gunawan, GG, how are you?
I'm well, Adam. How you going, man?
I'm really good, thanks, mate. Now, I might, when I went to your website, it said that they call you GG. I've been calling you G. So what are we going to call you now?
Just call me G. I think
G.
because honestly, I only have one name, right? Gunawan. So G is
Gunawan.
the go-to. But
Cool.
lately, because you gotta have like first name and surname is Gunawan Gunawan, so people started calling me GG. So there
Yeah.
you go, G or GG.
G, what
Yeah.
I'm doing,
So
I'm just
yeah,
going into the group here. I've got my
yeah,
little setup on the side
yeah, yeah.
because I want to make sure if we get any questions at this time, I just want to
Yes,
make sure that I can see them live.
for
Because
sure.
sometimes it's a bit how you're going that way. But I'm really pleased to speak to you, mate, because you and I have been working together. People don't know we actually worked together in corporate over a few years, actually. But you and I have been working together in the creative realm for a couple, at least two and a half years, I think.
Correct.
And that's been such an amazing, fantastic journey, I think, hopefully for the both of us, because you really you went from what was primarily a photography angle in your business at the time, I think, to more video. But I'm going to let you talk to that because I really would love to talk to you and let people know about your background and how you came to be where you're at today, because it's kind of a very interesting story. So I might hand over to you, G. So if you can just tell us about your creative journey. I guess start from scratch, actually. Would you mind coming to Australia and all of that?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, cool. Well, first of all, Adam, thanks so much for this opportunity, to be interviewed. It's such an honor, such a pleasure. Not used to be in the spotlight, but I guess I'll do what I can for now. I'm so grateful, man. All right. So, well, my name is, Gunawan. People call me Jay, and I came from Indonesia. I was born and raised in Indonesia, and I came in here in 2005, right, for better life, so called. And my mindset at the time was just like, I just have to work, to be successful. But luckily, that was so hard for me, so bloody hard for me to find a job back then. And then
Mm.
because of that, I was thinking, oh, I've learned photography back in Indonesia. So why don't I just, try to get into photography again? And that's how I started, to build my life in Australia as a photographer. Right. And yeah, so grateful I actually came down that path.
Right, yeah. So yeah, you started out, as you say, with photography, and um, I think you said to me that you were obviously just interested in photography and were working in with photographs in back home in Indonesia, but you came here and you
Yes.
started to just for money and for to keep renewing the equipment. It was wedding photography that you got into.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, when I got into photography, I was like, this is such an expensive hobby that I got myself into. So, to be able to basically find my hobby at that time, I was just starting to work as wedding photographers. But
Yeah, yeah.
going from there.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, I mean, a lot of people do wedding photography, but that's just part of their repertoire as a photographer. It's something they offer.
Right.
But for me, I think the thing that attracted me to you, G, was what you started to show on social media. And even though I knew you through, we worked together for a few years in corporate, even though I knew you from that space, I also started to see what you were doing in creating the videos for your when you would go away, or you still do this. It hasn't been so big an opportunity in this year, but
Yes.
you would
Yeah.
create these in epic sort of productions, I call them, of your family trips. So when did you start to really get into the video side of it and all of those amazing ideas? I should just actually, I just, before we go on, G, I didn't
Yeah,
really give everybody, you know, your bio that's on the site, and I just wanted to kind of sort of also frame your background a little bit further, because some
gotcha.
nice stuff on here.
Okay.
You know, you're a humanitarian. You love landscapes, music, and the visual arts. In fact, these are more than just an interest; they're your passion. And I think
Yes.
this is on your site, but I really saw that in your videos that you were creating of your family on these treks, and pretty much to me it seemed to be treks across the country. I mean, you've taken your family to the outback. And all sorts of places, and you created these really quite breathtaking and creative avant-garde sort of films of your family. You've got a passion for visual arts. I know you're also a musician, and you would add these really interesting music clips and just the way you edited. Tell me, when did you start to sort of think, right, I'm going to get out there and then turn what could be really just a nice getaway into an epic production like the ones that you're producing?
Yeah, it's there's a lot of factors actually came into play, right? So I'll
Yeah.
probably take you a couple of steps back into like my you know, how actually being brought up and all that, right? I was born as a Chinese family in Indonesia, right? And when I was little, as I was growing up, because I looked different, I got bullied, you know, and I never get to know my dad as well as I grew up, right? So all these adversities come, you know, at that time that I was like, oh, you know, what the heck happens with everyone, right? But it's all adds up and shaped the man I am today, basically. And at the same time, I do want to provide my family, you know, what I basically a dad figure, right, a father figure, and that's one of the reasons why I try to document everything as well, you know, as we traveling, you know, that's basically one of the reasons, right? But I'm lucky that I have been able to acquire that skill as well to grow so that I can actually put them together. So documenting as well as creating something that, you know, visually enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I just found it so interesting and so great to watch these clips that you started to create maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I'm just trying to think, but
Yeah.
I thought to myself, gee, isn't this amazing? I mean, you're a person who has, you know, been working full time. You every sort of waiting minute that you have outside of working your 9 to 5, you're either, you know, working with your straightforward photography stuff, but any other downtime you've had with the family, you turn that into an experience that I just think over time, G, that, you know, imagine your kids growing up and seeing all of this documentary sort of footage that you've created of them,
Hope
and
so.
you do it in such a lovely way. It's so creative, and you're just capturing those moments that you never get back. You know, you never get that time back with the
Exactly.
family. And, you know, we used to have these photos that maybe were in an album in the old days or just on phones, but you're creating these really quite special, you know, I think they're
Yeah.
like mini documentaries to me, because you'll explain what you're doing, you'll explain where you are, you'll explain the environment you're in, and you've been in some pretty, you know, when you trekked across the outback, you had some pretty sort of less than stellar places, less than luxurious accommodations that you were in and showing us
Far
through.
from
But
luxury, yeah.
yeah, and also the work you do with the drone as well. What sort of things inspire you, I guess, G, when you're launching into any sort of idea for a new production, or you know, it could even be a music clip, or it could even be the next topic, which is, I think a lot of people would be interested in, is this whole journey you've gone into now with interior designers and producing brand design videos. What are some of the things that I guess inspire you straight away when you think of a new project?
Look, people inspires me, right? Like
Mm,
within my family, kids, my children, they inspire me so much,
mm,
right? They grow so quick, they learn a lot, and they learn so quick as well. You know,
mm.
they are inspirations. But generally speaking, though, you know, I get inspiration from everywhere, like human, mainly, right? The other thing as well, gratitude is a very big thing to me, like realizing that I'm alive, healthy, and even able to be interviewed by you right now. It's such a, yeah, it's I'm so grateful about this, man. And when it comes to a project, right, inspiration can comes from understanding who I'm shooting for. Like if I'm shooting for you, right, that's why I ask questions like, why, what do you want to use this video for? And maybe a little bit of your background, right? And if I can actually build that into a production, into like 1 minute video or 2 minutes video, I think that can make that video a bit of a stronger video for you to present to your audience.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And I think, you know, one of the things that inspires me the most is when you come back with an edited version of something that I really probably don't know as a person using you to produce a brand video for me, or a number. I'm not sure how many we've done now, G. I think we've done several videos, lots of videos actually, but it's always an interesting thing when we film and then you'll go away into your editing suite and you'll come back with something that I'm not even sure I'm going to expect. So it's that whole interesting period later. I think you were saying recently to me when we were filming, you know, we've got the dialogue out of the way. Now this is where all the hours are next, is in the editing suite.
Yeah.
So but if I can just, yeah, if I can just speak actually to the guys that might be watching and thinking about doing any video, you're welcome to jump on. Actually, you'll see G and I now work together in a video section on my website, which is adamscougal.com. And there's a video drop down there, and you'll actually see a project or a series of videos from a project I did a couple of years ago, where that we really, didn't we, G? We went out and we did before footage. So we didn't know how this was going to turn out, but we took some before, during renovation. And then it was months later, wasn't it, really, when we returned? And you filmed with me and we added dialogue with the afters. And then there's a number of videos, if anyone wants to watch them, on my website under videos, where you'll see this collection of videos. But it's one of these things, G. Like people say to me, clients that I'll meet up with, sometimes I won't know if they're watching, but I'll get these little bits of information. Oh, I really like that video when you're in that house and you did this and did that, or you know, and people do ask me who actually produced that video for you. It's so creative. But it's really sometimes just a subliminal thing, I think, for people to see. But so important, don't you think, that we're the face of our brand too, G? What do you think of that, being the, you know, really getting your profile out there? Because you do that too. You got a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Like, do you mean like putting a profile out there using video?
Yeah, like you're one person. So there's a lot of photographers out there, for example, that are not doing any video of themselves, or talking about who they really are, or showing their family and showing their real life. But you're doing that, and you've actually got a YouTube channel that, you know, where you can see your life, and it's all really this is me, this is exactly what I'm going through, this is what my family's going through. It seems to me more and more, G, that the more that we're kind of putting ourselves out there authentically as who we are really as a person, it actually is very attractive to people, because they feel as if there's no sort of barrier up and you're not putting anything on. Would you say that's, how do you feel? Do you feel that way?
Exactly, 100%, man, 100%.
That's what I get from you anyway when I watch you. That's how I see you. There's no putting on of anything. There's no bravado. You're not trying to be a guy in a jacket and next to a Mercedes Benz. You're just telling the truth about what's happening in your creative journey. And
not placing a little beauty,
yeah, it's very authentic. So
I think it is important, especially in the digital era like this, right? Everything's recorded. You know, you can't, you almost can't get away from that. You know, it's either now or later the truth gonna reveal, right? And whatever the business that you do, it is important to document the steps. To me, anyway, right? If you're talking from a business perspective, then that let people to know you, trust you, and eventually lead to sales. But also, it's, you know, I'm thinking from basically living the life that I love as well, right? So Yeah, there's a lot of aspect. I think that's definitely important to document everything.
I think so too. Yeah, I think a lot of the time we sort of go through life without doing that, and you know, as you get older, um, and I'm a few
You're
years
still
on
young, man.
UG, you start to realize, you think, hang on a second, do I remember that time? And I have nothing to show for it. You know, I haven't taken enough images of it, or I don't have any sort of thing to reflect on. But tell me about, how are you enjoying the process of working with designers? Because I know you're working on a couple of projects at the moment for design brand videos. So
Yeah,
tell everybody about how that works in terms of the kickoff, putting a brand video together for an
yeah.
interior designer.
Well, look, it's part of my evolution. That's how I see it. You know,
Yeah.
I really enjoy it, right? Well, when I first learned videography, I've obviously never thought that I'm gonna work with designers like you right now, right? I really love doing it. So I started as photographer, as you guys know already, wedding photography, and that led me into family photography, christening, and all that. And up to the point that I was like, oh, you know, I've done photography already, you know, so many type of photographies. Now what, right? What's next? Right? I think on everyone's journey, I think we always gonna get to the point that once we hit our goal, there's always gonna be like, what's next kind of thing, right? So what's next kind of thing to me at the time was video. Um, and and I didn't know how to use DSLR camera to take proper
Mm,
videos. I was actually starting using GoPro to record
mm,
my travel videos and all that.
mm,
And it turned out well. I was like, oh, pretty happy with that video. But again, to the point that I was like, okay, after about 6 months using GoPro as travel video, I was like, I'm missing something here. There's no professional look that gives you that blurry background and foreground kind of thing. That's how I actually learned how to use DSLR,
mm.
right? From the points of reference, you know, found it from everywhere, you know, from friends, from even YouTube videos. And that's how I started to record my travel videos using DSLR camera and GoPro and a drone, right? And then put everything together. Um, I didn't know how to get the video job because no one would trust me to do video job at the time, right? And thanks to you, you know.
Except for me, I trusted you.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And that's how it started. Sorry, my voice is a bit husky at the moment. I actually,
Yeah.
you know, having running nose, you know, is still around,
I
but
know you've got a cold, so thank you for coming on and still doing this. But
that's
yeah, I mean it is true for anybody out there that we started. I guess your first interior design video was or based on a life of an interior designer or a project
yeah.
was with me. But so what have you learned through that process though, G? If you know, if someone's calling you now and they want to look at maybe a brand video, we've just done a new video, haven't we? Um, where it's actually my freebie opt-in that we've done. So it's
Yeah.
a video to promote my opt-in. So for any of you guys out there that are thinking of putting together an opt-in, like someone can download a PDF from your website and join your list, your mailing list, which has been working well for me recently. I've actually taken it a step further. I've produced a video with G, and we've done a whole sort of little minute video that can be used on Instagram, an Instagram ad or a Facebook ad. And then what it is it's just really putting a face to a concept rather than what I'd done before, which was Facebook ads to bring people into my list. I'm actually now, we decided to do a video. So we've just finished, haven't we, G, a 1 minute video so that I can use that as my ad content. But let's talk about the process. So if I come to you, G, as a person who's wanting something similar, what do you think
Yeah.
some of the most important things in terms of creating that really sort of well uh,
Like what makes
great
good.
working relationship together, lack of a better
Yeah,
expression?
like if someone actually come to me and say, "Hey, I want to do videos," then I will need to get to know them a bit more. You know, I normally
Yeah.
ask them a bit more questions because that gives me an idea of what I need to shoot and how I want to shoot to tailor to that specific person, right?
Right.
But there's a couple of points that I think is going to make good videos, generally speaking, and also it's also applicable for businesses like interior designers, for example, is it has story to tell, because human like human, as much as you think that human don't like human actually care and want to know about what other humans are doing, right? So if it has story to tell, that's going to add value to the video. And it's the second point is it needs to be either entertaining, or if you're as boring as me, for example, then you can actually make sure you make a video that has value to your audience, right? Whether that's tips about how to decorate a small room, how to play around with the colors, things like that, that adds value to your audience. Therefore, that adds value to the video. And the third point that many people actually overlook as well, music. The music can actually change the mood, right?
Oh my
When people are
gosh.
watching the video. Yeah.
It's so true, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. It's so true. And that's the part I love about the editing with you is we get to play around with different music. But you're so right. The music is so important. And I like what you said, G, about the story too. I think that we can talk about a service that we offer. Sign up for my free opt-in could be really boring and straightforward. It's a PDF and you get tips on this, or it can be, here's the story of creating your ideal home, and here's the three sort of must-have or never fail ideas that you're going to get out of this, which is this, and that. So it's just, I think, what I'm getting from you is it's a whole story behind, what's the bigger picture here? What's the audience going to get, whether it's a free opt-in video or a video on, the service you offer as an interior designer as a part of your brand. And is there a personal element to that? Which is what you do so well, is you put it out there. You're not hiding from the fact that you are, a dad with two young kids, and you're a family man, and you're hustling. You're always out there doing
no
live.
point hiding anyway.
Yeah. So what do your kids think of you doing all of this constant sort of documentation of their lives? And you're on TikTok, you're doing videos with your daughter, and you're doing all sorts of crazy stuff all the time. I don't know where you get the time. What do your kids think of it? What do your kids think of you doing all this, and what do they think of their dad?
Well, honestly, I don't know. It's probably best to ask them, and they probably wouldn't know about that because I've been like this since they were born, right? So they probably think this is a new norm. There's nothing abnormal with my pattern here. But as they grow up, maybe they're gonna realize one day that, damn, my dad actually did a lot, right? Yeah. But at the moment, I'm just taking my time to enjoy with them. And obviously, how I get my time, I just do whatever makes you happy, really. But this is actually what makes me happy. The whole process of even not watching Netflix kind of thing, not spending too much time on TV. And every time I've got spare time, sit down, do nothing, which I rarely have that time. But every time, if I have that time, I always ask, like, what's my bigger goal? And what can I do within my spare time, like 1 hour sitting here doing nothing? Do I want to create content? Do I want to basically talk to my audience? Or do I want to create something that adds value to my audience? Like things like that. Or even just as simple as writing down the script of what my next video is going to be, right? And I think that can also be applicable to you as well as interior designers, right? In your spare time, just like any ideas that have popped up, just write it down.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm not actually a TV watcher, but that's what I find interesting. So interesting about you, G. That's the one thing I don't imagine you doing, because a lot of people come home and go, I'm just putting the TV on. A lot of dads out there are going to come home from their 9 to 5 and they're going to have some dinner with their kids and their wife or partner or whoever, and then they're probably going to spend a couple of hours in front of the box. and probably just go to sleep and then get up for another day in the office. But and there's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that. Nothing wrong with that
nothing
either.
wrong with
But
it. Nothing
but
wrong
it's a
with it.
very
Yeah,
different existence that you have created in your life. Is that you really make the most of every hour. And
yeah. If people
yeah,
are happy with that pattern, then let them be. They already win, right? Like, but I'm not happy having that pattern. And that's why I gotta do something else to produce different outcome.
yeah, we've got a couple of comments. A really nice comment from Philippe about the videos on the website. Thanks, Philippe, for that lovely comment.
Thank
He said, Philippe Flat, who's also a great photographer. Philippe is saying the videos on your website are brilliant, Adam. Hi, guys. So, the
you.
videos on the website wouldn't be as good as they are if it wasn't for your talent too, G, and just
Thank you.
really, you also know what to film, and there's, you'll be filming things and adding things later on that I don't even know you recorded. And that's in a good way. So Sheena's
Thanks,
there.
man.
Thank you, Sheena. She agrees with Philippe about the videos. So you're getting a bit of
Thanks,
a
Sheena.
fan. You got a bit of a fan base up, G. So yeah, so I'm just thinking, I mean, I know that you got a mission, G, for yourself, and you want to take care of your kids and your family, your wife,
Yeah.
and that's wonderful. I know you're going to continue when you can to travel and to document that life of yours, which you put 150% into yours, don't you, in documenting all that. I want to talk about where do you see yourself in the future, G, because I know you've got big dreams and big passions, and
Yeah.
that's really cool. Where do you see what's going to happen in the next few years, or where are you directing all of this creativity ultimately?
Yeah. Honestly, the answer is I don't know, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep growing. I'm gonna keep going. I've got a bigger dream. But look, coming from that background, when as I was growing up, with all those adversities happened, my bigger picture is, I want to make whatever that I can do to make this world a better place, right? I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but that's my bigger picture. um, with this videography, photography, adventure, all these kind of things, music, this is my vehicle, right? Obviously, financial wise, I want to scale my business further, so that I can have a bigger production company, so I can work more efficiently, for my clients, get more jobs, get financially independent. But the reason why I do that, I'm not a big fan of accumulating money, but the reason why I'm doing that because once I achieve something, people then will listen to me more, right? And that's how I can actually make impact, to make this world a better place, right? However the case might be. So that's my bigger picture. So fingers crossed, man. It's a long journey, but I'm still young. You're still young.
Yeah, okay. I'm believing it. I'm believing it. You make me
You are,
believe it.
man.
You're making me believe it. Well, G, I wish you all the best with it. I think, I'd love to see what happens to you in the next 5 years. I think because you're putting in so much energy, I just see this boundless energy and just this, you just don't stop and you continue to create. And I think it's true, G, I mean, I've got plans and I've had plans and they're still there, but things are going to change and they're going to sort of veer into their own course, aren't they? We're never 100% sure,
Yeah,
but you want to grow your business,
exactly.
you want to scale. Is the videography, is that one of the key things that you're focusing on that you want to continue, or is it the photography side or both?
I think it's gonna be both, because I really enjoy doing both depending on what I do. I At the moment I can't see myself to do videography in a wedding just yet, because I know how much involved, but I really enjoy doing photography side in the wedding. As if I'm doing the pre-wedding, anything I can actually pre basically, pre-do the setups, like interior designers, for example, or pre-weddings, engagements, something that's not really ad hoc happens and I have to catch it or miss it.
Mm,
For that, I
yeah,
prefer videos, because I think I can actually explore a lot more and tell stories. I really enjoy doing that.
yeah, and you're very, very good at it, G. So
Thanks, man.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to continuing to working with you on the videos as we move
For
into
sure.
a bit of a new phase. More to hear on that as we go through the rest of the year. And you'll be hearing from me, G, because you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know very shortly. I can tell you that. Do you have a passion project, G, that you see that you would like to? Do you have something in the back of your mind that's like a dream video project that you would love to realize? And if so, can you share?
Um, at the moment, yes, there's a passion. I want to make short movie. You know, that's I think ultimately for the short-term goal, that's probably what it's going to be. You know, because I want to learn how to handle the logistics. I want to learn how to work as a team. So at the moment, I'm one man show. You know, I produce, I do the cameraman, I write scripts as well sometimes, but I want to spread those role and create something. So yeah, fingers
Short
crossed.
film. Do you know what the topic's going to be?
Um, actually, I don't know yet. You know, it can be music. It can be a bit of an action. It can
Yeah.
be something to do with humanity.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll definitely be something that'll be very interesting to the eye. I can definitely say that. We might wind up, G. I've loved talking to you just briefly tonight about just letting everybody know a little bit about you. I'm always so as I was saying, I admire everything that you do. With every minute, you take the most of every minute of the time you've got, and all of that time. I know that sometimes you're there till midnight, G, creating these wonderful clips and sort of it's just really impressive. So I think, well done. And listen, G, where can we see? I want people to see not only the videos, if you want to have a look at some interior design stuff I've done with G again,
yeah,
adamsgoogle.com in videos, but I
yeah.
really would love for you, G, I don't know whether you can just maybe put it in the comments or let me know and I'll put it in the comments, but how can people see some of these travel videos you've done, because they're quite epic, and you do them
Okay,
all on
thanks.
your own, don't you? It's all
Yeah,
done
yeah,
by you
yeah,
and a drone sometimes, and then all of
yeah.
that amazing editing. But your YouTube channel, is it your YouTube channel where we're going to
My
get all that?
YouTube channel is Red Imagination, like the color red and imagination, because you know that's where the magic starts, the imagination. So Red Imagination by Gigi.
This is YouTube.
That's YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to see GG's talent, have a look, and you want to see some amazing really well done clips. There's a lot of varied stuff there on that YouTube channel. If you've got some time, you can learn more about this gentleman here, because he's very open to explaining what makes him tick in life and his passion. And you're also very you don't mind telling everybody exactly your past and where you're going, your present and future. Go onto the YouTube channel, and if you do want to see those clips, or if you'd like to, I'm going to do a little bit of a plug, G, because I think you're amazing. If you do want to look at some brand video stuff, this guy, give him a call. And that's only if
Thank
you
you.
want to, but I'm very happy, and I'm looking forward to the journey, G, on more videos and more
Yeah, me
creative
too.
stuff, because at the end of the day, it's fun, isn't it, to see the end product of something you've put
It
a lot of
is. Yeah, it is.
effort
And
into.
yeah, exactly. It is. And also, just to add value to your community over here, just I'm not selling anything, but visual representation definitely will add value to businesses, whether that's photos or videos. So I don't care if you then ended up getting, not calling me, or even get videographers from your preferred videographer. I wouldn't mind, but just consider having photos or videos for your website, for your presentations, basically, because that will add value.
Yeah, that's the key. And I think that's the thing that us as an interior design community too, Jeb, just talking to these guys, is that that's the one thing that I'm really learning, is that a lot of the time we will sort of talk about our workload, or whether we've got a lot on and
Yeah.
that's really good, or it's too much or there's too little. But one of the things I know for sure is that the more that we are the face of our brand and actually getting ourselves out there
Yes.
speaking to people, it does build the trust, doesn't it? People
It
start to,
does.
that's the thing, isn't it? Starts to build the trust up when you start to see this person
It
talking
does.
and
Yeah.
in their day-to-day life or in their business life, showing all of that is really
Exactly.
important.
Even, you know, you don't have to think about the high quality videos, right? And hiring the, videographers like me. Even you can produce that yourself using a phone, because, as long as that adds value, that then will demonstrate to your audience about what you know, and then build trust, right? I think that's very important.
You're right, G. Yeah, you don't need to be a tech wizard. And there's some courses around on that, on how to use the phone and so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's just what you do as well as the Facebook Lives. You'll get on Facebook Live, or you'll do an Instagram story, and you'll be on video. And I think that's one of the things that I lack in, is really getting into the Instagram, working that out, the video side of it. So I'm trying to work that out. But you're right. I think your message is just to get out there, isn't it? It doesn't have to be high tech. Yeah,
exactly. Just get it out there, just wing it, just do it. And that's what life's about.
yeah.
I think as long as you keep doing the right thing, then the right thing is going to come back to you. That's what I believe in.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming on. You've been under the weather and we weren't sure whether you were going to be okay, but you came on. But I really wanted to introduce you. Wanted to introduce you to the group, and to just thank you for the great stuff that you've done for me, and really has made a difference to just people getting an impression of the type of work as well before they meet you, and putting a face to the to the business side of it. So thank you very much, and have a check out the YouTube if you can, Red Imagination YouTube GG. See some of these lovely family videos. They're not boring. They're not dull little clips. They're epic.
Thanks,
you can't believe this guy's done it all on his own. So it's amazing.
And by the way, if you want to see the Instagram as well, if I want to chuck it in, it's Red Imagination Adventure. Red Imagination Adventure on Instagram. Yeah.
What's over on Instagram, G? Have you got video on there as well as still, or?
I've got a bit of videos, but mainly stills. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And look, I want to add value to your community as well, right? So if you, any of you want to ask questions about how to shoot photos or videos, feel free to message me. I'm serious.
Okay, cool.
If I've got time, I'll respond.
Okay. Can they do that on Instagram? Is that the platform for the messages?
You can message me on Instagram, Facebook. I think Facebook can do that as well. Yes, and YouTube. Any questions you've got about technical stuff, yeah, reach out.
Okay, comments on YouTube as well, welcome. So thank you very much, G. Have a lovely evening. Rest up, get over this cold, and I'm sure you're still creating away there, even if you are under the weather. All the best, G, and thanks for coming on. Have a good evening.
Thanks so much for having me, and thanks so much for everyone who's watching. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of the week. Ciao.